Welcome to another handy lesson. In today's video, we're going to talk about fostering learners' autonomy. As we stated in the lesson of the silent way, the purpose of that methodology is to produce autonomous, responsible learners. But how to foster the autonomy in learners? And what is autonomy? So let us talk about that in this lesson. What's the difference of being an independent learner from being an autonomous learner or a responsible one? Basically, the difference is as it follows. A dependent learner is that which is waiting and expecting to receive all information from the teacher. Depends, he or she depend on whatever the teacher says, whatever the teacher provides, and the resources he gives. An independent learner is someone who's able to find his own resources and study on his own and following a syllabus or a program or an outline. Still, a bit dependent of the outline to follow. The difference between independence and autonomy is that the autonomous learner is also conscious of his own weaknesses, his own needs in knowledge. And he creates, once he becomes aware of what he needs, he creates his own program and syllabus for later following it. That will be the big difference. An independent learner follows an outline or a syllabus. The autonomous learner understands his own lackness of knowledge, his own weaknesses, and he then develops his own material to solve those weaknesses and lackness of knowledge. A responsible learner, after he has become autonomous, the responsible learner commits and is able to motivate and keep his own motivation, to motivate himself and protect his motivation until reaching the goal. So that will be the difference between dependent, independent, autonomous, and responsible. Now, the role of a teacher is to create, to produce autonomous, responsible learners. How to do that? Well, there are different strategies to follow. Whenever you're teaching a lesson and you want your students to become autonomous, you need to teach them how to become that way. So you set learning goals, you give them choices, you demonstrate the learning tasks, and then you encourage them to set their own reward system. Set learning goals means that you tell students whatever they're going to learn by the end of a week or by the end of a lesson. When it says give them choices, for example, if you're teaching present continuous, you write on your board the goals, the objectives for today's lesson is to understand or to memorize 5 verbs with ing. That is one. Second, to use a present continuous sentence, three present continuous sentences in context. 3 will be to create a whole story using present continuous. In that way, you're addressing all types of levels of your students, but you're giving them choices so they can become aware of what is the best goal for them to reach. You lead them through some questions. You write the goals on the board and you ask them, according to what you know, or what do you think is the best for you, or do you think you can make on this, or this objective. The 3 objectives are based on present continuous, but you're giving them different levels. In that way, students can decide. You then definitely need to demonstrate, model what you want them to do. What are they going to be able to do by the end of a lesson? How? Maybe through a video or through a role play, you and another teacher, or just showing a scene or a dialogue. But you need to model somehow whatever they're going to reach so they can visualize themselves doing it. And finally, encouraging students, asking them to give themselves a reward. Maybe they give themselves a candy, or they give themselves 5 minutes watching their favorite song on YouTube, or anything that can motivate them to continue doing it. In that way, you're leading them to know, to learn how to become aware of their needs, select what they need to learn, and protect their own motivation. Finally, you need to make sure that you are giving SMART goals. SMART goals is an acronym that states for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. That means that you need to give them specific goal, like by the end of a lesson, you will learn how to use 3 sentences in present continuous. That's also measurable. You're saying 3 sentences by the end of a lesson. It is also achievable if you're talking about an A1 or a beginner A2 student. So it's something he can achieve. Realistic means by the end of this lesson, 3 sentences in one lesson, that's completely realistic. And timely, by the end of the lesson of today. So all of that states SMART goal because he knows when, how many, and it's also challenging but achievable. So that's the point of SMART goals. If you set those type of objectives, then you will foster learners' autonomy. So this has been the lesson on fostering learners' autonomy that actually belongs to the silent way methodology. I'll see you in the next handy lesson.